don't know what the heck that was about. All right. Good news, bad news. Bad news is the Awesome didn't strip the green paint that was on here. I had to take it and put it in the trusty brake fluid that usually always works. But I know the brake fluid, the body's scuffed up now because I use a Scotch Brite to remove the paint. That stuff there wouldn't fit. We'll get that cleaned up in a little bit with some sandpaper. But it looks sanded now. That's because I use a Scotch Brite. But I still have all the glue areas to pay attention to that Pete had glued the original body onto. But with that being said, you can see the brake fluid took the Tamiya paint right off. I believe Pete primered it and then put the green color on it because there was a primer, and I don't believe Tamiya has a paint and primer mixed. But it was definitely a primer on here. By sanding it, you can see it went from green to gray where the primer was. But the Awesome didn't hurt the resin parts at all. They're still nice and strong. That's one thing. I knew I had some 3D printed parts coming for this. So I was taking a chance on seeing, because usually I just, okay, there you go, Pete. Yeah. Usually I just would spray, because that Awesome also comes with the spray nozzle. I'd usually just spray my resin parts, let it set for a few minutes, and then I'd scrub them. I never really let it soak, and I let this soak for a couple days, and I pulled everything out yesterday and started working with it and realized it wasn't cutting it. So I put the 300Z, I put the body of the 300 in the brake fluid last night, and I just end up cleaning these up like I always do, and I do the chip away on it. Found out it did have a resin hood. That was one of the things I wasn't for sure as if it had a plastic hood or a resin hood, but it looks like it has the full. Pete had informed me that it's the full 81 resin Rocket Bunny kit. I went through and I done told Pete, I went through and I re-drilled all the bolt holes. They have them molded in, but since they were full of, like Pete just said, primer, paint, clear, I drilled them all the way out. I still got to sand them. I just drilled them all the way out last night before bed. And then, so you can see everything's cleaned up. And then what I'll do is I'll start reattaching everything. And the 3D parts for this one probably won't be here until after the first of the year. They're not printed yet. They're not printed yet. But you can see Gap Hill Speed Shop. I talked to him a couple times today, and he's actually got a project, a 350 project that he's also doing for Scaledworld. And what he's doing is, I believe he's going full drift mode with the options that he's getting from Pete. I'm just cleaning up some glue right there, guys. That's another thing, using the brake fluid. Sometimes it weakens the bond of the super glue, not your tube glues or your liquid glues, but the super glues. Sometimes it brittleizes them, and it's easy to get off without damaging anything. You can hear it just crumbling. So there's the update on that. I guess the Awesome isn't strong enough to attack the Tamiya paint and clear. It must be the enamels that it goes beast mode on. But you can see when Pete first glued this together. Let me get the other over fender. You can see the glue mounts on the inside are still there, and the glue mounts to the bodies. That right here is going to give me, I'm still going to clean all this up before I reattach this, but that could also be a good marker for me to see where this body kit actually is making contact and what needs to be sanded down to get a better contact for it. It's a good kit, but like with any resin, there's some extras that need to be either removed from the body, guys, or removed from the resin piece itself. Right there looks good. Then you can see I re-drilled the holes. You can see the holes better once it's against that plastic thing. Just want to give you guys an update on where it went. Pete had asked how the awesome worked, and it works for some subjects. It didn't cut it for this subject. So it is good prep though. I still use it to strip other stuff and as a good prep. So it's not a total lost cause. It's just we had some response to the Ford Courier video about it not taking away some paints, and I guess Tamiya. Don't know whether because it was cleared or if it was just the paint itself. Just looking at fittings and stuff. Before I put this bumper on, I'll put the interior and everything back in it. But right here, just to show you guys how I was talking about stripping stuff back down before, don't just take something and repaint it. Plus, you can go back and see exactly what needs to be addressed. Like with this one, we knew it had a body kit on it one time, and we knew we were going to put a body kit back on it. But still wanted to start with fresh on both the resin and the oops. I'll have to get that cleaned out here in a little bit. But I wanted to give Pete an update. Here's that. We know this glues in. I want to glue the cowl in. So we'll get this out. You can see. Right here, just cleaning up some old glue. Why it's already out of the car. One thing I noticed the kit is missing, Pete, is I don't have the back window wiper. So it's not important. That's just, I had everything else. I was going to delete that anyway. I didn't even know it had a wiper option until I stripped it. And once I stripped it, once it was stripped, I noticed that little hole right there. Didn't even know the Z's came with the rear wiper option. Now, if you guys don't remember, for a while there, I was casting some of my own parts. And I was actually blessed to have George Ramos from Vision 124 let me copy a motor he had for one of his GTR builds. So I got a Nissan motor already we're going to put in here maybe. I got some motor options coming too. I think John over at Gap Hill is doing a motor swap on his Nissan, and I think he had a couple choices, so I don't know. I'm not going to say which one he chose. That'll be for his publication. But clean all that glue up. clean all that glue up. And then that way right here, I will have an opening hood for Pete on this one. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this so I know where everything is. Oh, well, you son of a gun. Do some reassembly here. And put that in there like that. Where's my tape? This right here is just automotive 3M automotive refinishing masking tape. So then right there, I'm gonna get a true measurement. Just adding some super glue right in here. You guys know I used Bob Smith. I use Instacure, the purple one. It seems to work best for me. Gives me some mounting time and then some. Gives me the security I need. On this project, because it's going to be holding the whole front end together, so right here's a main piece to this build. I am going to add, this is resin dust. I've kept this from parts and other pieces of resin that I've sanded down. We are going to use that as a binder. And what that is, that's going to mix with the glue and give it more of a, you could use baking soda, but I got resin, so I'll use that. And just gives it a stronger support. And I just scoop it up like you're Tony Montana. And you're waiting for your little friend. And I just put it in there. Line it up and push it in there. Then right there, that's all solid and sandable. Then I'll go ahead and oops. Well, that wasn't supposed to happen. Then I'll juice it from the top side. All right. Get that in there. Now that front end is actually, now I got that front end, remember how it was loose there, because it's right here, the cowl's a whole separate piece. So now we can remove the window. You guys can see all that. Oh, I didn't take. So get back out there. Clean that up. All right, there it goes. Now to that little bitty mounting points. Now we got a good clean hood mount. So we'll put that there. You put that there. And then we'll be able to fit the hood. We'll be able to fit the hood there a little bit better. Alright, so we got that and that. So now, let's put everything back in prospect and see what we got here. So we got the window. Which, Pete, I see you're in here. I'm pretty much going to cut the side windows out. And just have your back window and your front window in place. guys ever built Tamiya, Aoshima, Fujimi, you know they always have body mounts in the bumpers and what have you. So get the window in there, get this in here. Alright. So then I'll put all that back together like that. Part of the 3D printed stuff that I'm gonna get from Pete on this, it has an engine bay per se. It has a whole tubular front end type thing here. We're going to try to implement on this build. So this will have an opening hood, and I will be building a motor for it. But with that being said, we might have to jig all this out. I will see what happens with the resin motor I get. I have the mold. I have to pour it. But we'll see what kind of, we'll see what I get out of that. So with that, we're going to do this. Put that right there and that right there. Let's mount the, I'm going to mount the right side first. All right. Get my toothpick. Get my glue. I think I kind of want to mount the front, Pete, because of those front bumpers are really fragile right now. The front fenders, I mean. I can always cut away and trim away, bud. I was talking with Bill from get your butt back in there. That you're not always, when you purchase something aftermarket like this 81 kit here, you're not always getting a perfect piece or perfect fit. So you got to do your test fitting, and you got to make sure you get what's good to fit right, because when they're mass producing parts, sometimes they don't update their resin mold, so you get a copy of a copy of a copy, and each time you get a copy, you're going to get some distortion. Clean that up. Now with this, you guys see I didn't use no filler on the super glue here. What I did here is we're letting the plastic and the resin mix from the fender and the bumper where it meets. And we'll let that work itself together. Thank you guys if you watched this morning's episode on the Truck Thursday build and you're returning for the 350Z update. Thank you. It's hard for me to do that. Only work on something online, man. On this project here, I hadn't touched it since Pete gave it to me. And then we were talking about 3D parts for another build. And all of a sudden this thing here sparked interest in me. That's another thing bad about my channel. I don't stick on just one project. I jump all over. Alright. I'm thinking when the 3D front end comes in, Pete, I can manipulate. I'll be able to manipulate because I got a nice, decent set of room behind the firewall. It's not in there all the way. I got a nice little distance under the window cowl here that I can go back to, and then the front looks pretty well opened up. And since it's kind of a thicker resin, Pete, I can be able to Dremel some of that inside bumper out. Oh, you got it all? Okay, I thought you were going to wait till after the first. All right, that works. All right. Now, like I said, guys, I've always been a builder that worked around the model, not just all over the place. So with that being said, we got the front bumper attached. We got that cowl attached. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get the hood fit. We'll get the hood to fit. Yeah, okay, because remember, I'm going to open the hood. Pete glued it on. It has some issues. Some fitment issues. Won't be noticeable when the hood is up showing off the 3D printed stuff, but if closed, it doesn't close right, and it's got a few stupid looking gaps. I mean, that's not Pete's fault. You can tell the hood is. Don't get me wrong, 81 sells some good stuff, but it's resin. Your molds are soft because you got to get your parts out so they don't always stay true to their shape. And like I said, it's you print 1 or 2, it's okay. You print 20 or 30, and you don't freshen up your molds, you get some issues. But I've never had anything unusable. Me and Bill from Scaled by Snacks was talking. There's some products out there that we're buying that are so bad you can't even use them. So on this, to get this hood to fit right, we're either going to have to remove part of the hood or part of the bumper. And let me go onto the bumper and see. If I was to do this, if we were to do this by this point and this point, which are the pretty well notifications of the hood, where the hood bolts, where the hood curves here and here, the hood is too long. Or the nose is too long. So, in order to get the right gap, I think first of all, I'm going to sand the hood this way, just to give a flatness to it. You also got to consider you got the headlamp poles too. So you don't want to go too crazy. So I got that. Got that. Let me work on this side for a minute. And not to knock Pete, but he also glued the hood once. So you got some extra material, so I'm not really worried about the sides just yet. I'm worried about main visual points. See, just a quick, you don't have to take a whole lot off when you're working with resin. Just that little quick sand. Got us some room. So you get there, get there. Yeah, see, I'm going to take off, for me, I'm going to take off part of this bumper. I'm going to go I'm trying to stay flat and even. I put my sandpaper on a popsicle stick. I don't want to cut it short. I want to smooth it and kind of use it like as a mounting lip. That way, if I have to, see, right now we're getting where we need to go, and nothing's really been cut yet. So right here might need, yeah, the hood itself is a little warped, if you guys see. John, I'd have to be honest, I don't know, because I use them so much. I use it so much, I buy them in a box of 1,000. I buy them in a box of 1,000. And they just say they're craft sticks. I call them popsicle sticks. Most people recognize them as popsicle sticks. But I just noticed, look how warped that hood is. Oh. So, one way I fix a warp hood is you put it on the body. That's pretty, got a pretty little kink to it. What I do is find it. I just take a little, I'm gonna tape this together, that way it keeps the same main frame. Oh. Hey, I'm lucky my wife, John, she's been, I stopped taking a bunch of different medications earlier this year, just to try to see if I can't get my body back to different. I know some of the stuff was supposed to be for medical, but some stuff, it felt like it just wasn't doing anything. So we thought we'd change my diet a little bit. So my wife has been taking all my candy away. But I've been getting better. She actually gave me a bag of chocolate, so I haven't had ice cream or popsicle or anything like that in about a year. All right. So I do now. Everything's in frame. I'm going to heat this up. Not much. We're just going to take a little heat to it. You don't need a lot. And it looked like my warp was up here. So I'd take some bending to it. Now let's see. Just like that. Just a few subtle moves. And I almost got it now. Look at it. Oh, some days I hate you, John. She said the same thing to me yesterday. God, you're cranky. What do you think now? Just a little bit of heat. You don't want to overdo it. Just a little bit. Yeah, that's just because I make you actually work. Looks like you could get. I'm going to do one more heat band. Now I got to see. Because once we hinge it, because I'll hinge this hood. Once we hinge it, it shouldn't be an issue, but still. Yeah, I'm going to give it one more. I notice there's a little glue right there, too. Finish that sand off I did. Finish this sand off I did over here, too. Oh, John. We don't need those kind of gummies, bud. Could you imagine me at work, zoned out on the slip? Oh. They're making a big deal at work. Our state just legalized recreational marijuana usage, and there's shops popped up all over. We have these shops popped up all over, and then we started getting these commercials about gummies, and one of these changes your mood. So now, with me and John being part of the safety team at work, they got us implemented in, we got to tell the associates it's just like drinking. You can't have an accident. You can't come to work intoxicated. So we can only imagine what's coming our way, can't we, John? We got some people now, they go out to break, and I'm like, I don't think that guy needs to be back on the floor. One old man came in one day, and you could smell it. Yeah, I'm liking that. Now, like I said, this came built already, but if you was to purchase this from 81, you're looking like $45 US for this kit. I know a lot of our C1 trans kit stuff, they start out about $30. But then you see some of these people with the 3D printed stuff, some of their kits start off at $100 and better. Alright, and we got the hood done. We got the hood close. I'm not going to hinge the hood today because I don't know. I want the tubular chassis here to see if I got to build a full firewall and everything before I do that. And I'll sand the hood down a little bit more and work on those gaps. But I got the front and the headlights and all that. Most of the majority of the fitment is good right there. So let's move on to front fender. And then look at the front fender. That goes there. That goes there. That goes there. I want to trim up. Some of this old glue off. And it also looks like it's got a lip in there. I'm going to switch my Dremel over to my barrel. See if I got my barrel still out here. I'm going to switch my saw Oh, 81's history? Dang, I didn't know that. This right here will be Stance, Kirby. This right here will be, he's got another member of the community doing the drift. I'm going more for show. I'm gonna go more for the show look. Hey, Scott. All right. So now, just working that front fender a little bit. Pete had already cut all the regular kit stuff out already. I'm just cleaning up his glue and stuff. I'm gonna try to get a little bit better fitment, but you can see Pete did a good job. He had already had most of everything else cut and out of the way. So you get that. Get right there on that door, don't you? Don't give you much door play. And it doesn't go all the way to the top. Okay. Okay. So then what I do, I'm going to clean up this door jamb real quick, Pete. Kind of give us a straighter line. Then going back to my all models scriber tool, I want to clean up this jam. There's some prior glue stuck in there. You can see it all coming out. This right here is a really neat tool. It was donated by Vision 124. George Ramos. I've had this for about 5 years now. And it's still sharp and it still does its job. And that's what it's meant to be, a scriber. And it also has rivets. Right here, it's got a hollow point. You probably can't see it on camera, but it's got a hollow point in there. And the military guys, see if I got a piece of spare plastic. The military guys use it to build the planes and the tanks because it can poke in there, and then it has that little rivet hole. Now you guys can't be able to see it. You'd be able to see it if it was here. So it's pretty neat. It's a rivet scriber tool. Just I went and bought another handle so that way I don't have to take the scriber tool out. So I'm just gonna come in here, like I said, clean up that jam. It don't look like Pete. It don't look like I want to remove any more product than you did. It looks like you did good on that. Pete is sending me a newer super kit, and it has a body kit for it too. It had some cut issues, Pete said, so we're gonna go back and we're gonna redo that for Pete. What I do, guys, is I'm making my own glue template because I see some stuff I want to remove. I see some product that I want to remove, but for the most part, Pete removed all the necessary stuff. And by doing this, I get to see where I want my glue marks. And what I like about this kit versus the kit that's out there is this has I'm going to remove that much right there just because the side vents I could see the under fender right there. So I'm going to remove those just to have a clear. You guys see that? The fender on the inside a little bit. I'm just going to remove that. So I think I'll just use my detail junkie saw. Yeah, that's not working. Yeah, but at the same sense, Scott, I don't want to be anal about it. I want it to be, what am I going to say? I want it to look believable. Like I said, I'm not a perfectionist by any means. But I do want it to look like it's something that would be believable. Uh-oh, Mason. Mason, go check the front door. What? If someone's at the front door. You want me to let them in? No, I want you to go check. It was the postman at the front door. Right here, guys, just to clean up that little corner. I'm using my Tamiya snips. I know, speaking of what Scott was saying, I know there's some builders, man, if it ain't, they're purest or truest or however you want to say it, and man, they will knock the crap out of someone's build if it's not dead on perfect. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Try to stay in camera. All right. Give me enough room to have product to glue onto. And I also still, oh yeah. Yeah, that's the look. Now you can't see nothing. Got one little corner I want to clean up. What is it, bud? A bag? Plus, I use a very thin paint in layers, and I'm not sure that you're to get through that vent and actually close it up all the way. Oh yeah, that's way better. So now that I know we did that on that side, let's just go ahead and prep this side too. Just going to go ahead and this time I'm going to use my mechanical pencil. See if I can't get that in there further. Nope. Yeah. Just knock that out of the way right now. I do have to say, with Pete being an amateur builder, he did a lot of the good preps. There's a lot of people wouldn't even attempt it and would just glued the fender over. Would just glue the fender over the body. I've seen some bad ones. But Pete, he did a good job doing all the radius. I'm just, perfecting what I want to see out of the body kit. I remember our first build that we redid for Scaledworld versus what he's doing, the kits and products he's doing. Oh yeah, I like that a lot. Pete has went above and beyond. John, ever since the pandemic hit, my wife got used to shopping online. So it could just be toilet paper upstairs. I don't know what she orders anymore. I know I go to the grocery store to get our fresh meat, but for the most part, man, it got so easy. You don't have to fight the rush. You don't have to get to the store and it not be there. Yeah. Scott, I said that to a guy, almost the same thing. I'm like, hey, my build is built the way I wanted it to look. It might not be perfect and it might not be a show winner, but I don't even see your build here. How can you critique me if I can't see your own work? Oh man, I'm still working on it. It's at the house. I won't show it until it's perfect. You get all the excuses once you tell them. And that's one thing. That's one thing that's great about working for Pete at Scaledworld. I get free range. I could do exactly what I want. My own colors, my own style. All he asks is that I don't profit from it, and because he does purchase this stuff and donates it. Yeah. I hear you, John. Yeah, but you live in Cleveland. I'm right in the middle of the city. You think, you know what I mean? I could see where a lot of your stuff would be. My dad used to call them. My dad's always been into real cars, doing the real car shows and stuff like that, Scott. And my dad used to always call them tire kickers. One of the cars my dad had, we bought from his uncle, that had bought it brand new in 71. And it might have been 84, 85. We drove down to a little place in Missouri called Herman, Missouri. We bought the car. It probably died 3 times on the way home. It probably died 3 times on the way home. And my dad totally rebuilt the 351 Cleveland, new interior, new wheels, totally redid it. There was a little speed shop in our hometown called Aero Speed. My dad actually worked there, and slowly put this car together. And why would you use those wheels? Why would you diamond tuck the interior? Why would you do this? And then they wouldn't have nothing in return. That car should be built like this. And my dad said, well, you know give me your checkbook, and I'll build it exactly the way you want it, and then we'll make it your car for $5,000, and I'll build it with your paycheck. Stuff like that. And not to be rude or dick about it, but he got to the point. It was like, this is my car, my project, this is what I wanted to do. And I kind of took that attitude with me into the hobby. It's like, if I spend the $30 on the kit, wheels and tires, the paint, don't knock me or don't change my build. Support me by telling me, hey, it needs this cleaned up, or it needs something else. Don't try to redirect me. There's things that I'm still learning. There's things that I'll always have to be schooled on. That's why I don't knock people's builds. I was like, you ask me, I'll give you my best answer I can. I'll tell you what, Pete, cutting this out for the vent holes to be pure through, it thing is fragile. Look at that thing move. So what I did is, I'm getting rid of Pete's old glue, plus I'm cutting the surface, what I call cutting the surface, getting a structure, that the fender will glue to. Alright, and I'm going to start, where'd my glue go? Start back here. I already dremeled the glue off that. Get me my toothpick. I'm going to start up here. I'm going to come through like that. Follow that line. Since this right here is a fragile part, I'm going to start here and get that all mounted the way I want it. Right there. Alright. Now, give me some more glue. There we go. Now, already discussed with Pete, with the 3D printed parts that are coming, I wanted to use this because the main thing I liked about this is I loved the vents and the fenders. So, depending upon the other 3D stuff I get, that I get for this, we're going to make our own. We're going to try to make our own one-off body kit per se. Alright, so get that in there. Alright, then you look on the inside, see where I cut that vent out? Now you can see all the way through. And we'll get that. Still got my headlight looking good. Alright, let's go to the other front fender. We still got to do the sanding on this one. Alright, so let's do that. Let's clean this back to the barrel. You guys already see I already sanded the glue. Oh, Scott, I actually have one, but I don't have a home computer. Everything I do is on the phone. So I gave it to Big Chris, and he has it set up at his house. Just haven't printed anything on it yet. Right now, Pete has a lot of good files, and plus, he's donating the products because I'm putting it back on stuff that in return, I don't charge Pete anything to build for him. In return, Pete lets me build stuff that I can't afford to build. Um, so it's a good even trade. I get to build it. I get to enjoy building it. He gets to enjoy um, the build of it in his collection, and he gets to show it for me. And I don't get a chance to attend model shows because I only work the way my schedule's set up. I only work weekends, and they don't have no model shows Wednesday afternoon. So yeah. Well, that's the Liberty. That's the style that this company does. The Liberty Walk stuff is it's always over fenders. Um, the same with their Panda stuff too. Get back here on camera so you guys see what I'm doing. Yeah, it fits really good, Pete. All right, back to the lecture. Yeah. Well, September. I think it was in September. Um, Scott, I think I already told you. I sold off 200 kits. Um, then we bought a new home in 21. So yeah, this is our second Christmas here. And so I've been doing stuff around the house, and I had a bunch of kits that I was just robbing parts out of, just they were really just, I hate to say, in the way after that point. And I had a local guy here from Garden, Kansas come out and buy it all, and he turns around and sells it on Facebook. And I didn't have to deal with it, and so you guys get back in the picture here. I didn't have to deal with it, and basically all that's in my collection now is stuff that I'm really going to build. Got rid of a lot of stuff that was just setting or being used to part out. But the 3D printed stuff now, it's like I don't need a part out kit. I just need to find the person that can make the parts I need. And luckily, I have a friendship with Pete that has a printer and that accessibility to make some cool stuff. And in return, I get to use his prints on his products. So that's cool too. This hobby has led to some great friendships. I've been taken by a few people, but you live and learn. You know what I mean? But Pete has went above and beyond over the years that we've been friends, and kept me enjoyed in the hobby, either by having stuff to build, having stuff sent to me for some builds, and showing my builds. That means a lot to me. If I can, I've sent him stuff that I built, and he's like, man, I don't deserve this. And I'm like, no, you're doing me a favor by sharing it with the shows and stuff you go to. Pete had a few of us that were attending shows to take pictures. That was taking pictures for Scaledworld. So I have the ability to have some of my builds reach parts of the country that I'll never be able to go to. I did a special tribute build for Chris Hells from C1, and without Pete's help, I wouldn't have been able to do that. Pete was able to take it to a show for me and present it to him personally, instead of sending it through the mail. He got it personally, thanks to Pete. Alright, I had a little gap I didn't get all the way to the top of the fender on, so there's that. Then I might add some filler in here and blend it over like it's a full fender. I don't know yet, so we'll see how it looks once I start getting into painting body. Then, like, I'm a firm believer. Oh yeah, you've been around for a while. You've been around for a while, Scott. I forget. Yeah, you know my history. Alright, so we got that rebuilt. Alright, now let's move on to the rear end. Now the rear end, fairly simple. The front was some of the most technical things. Yeah, it has a resin hood. This has a resin hood, Scott. But I also got a second one coming, and we're going to see which one fits better. As Pete said earlier today, this is a 81. This is an 80 factory 81 unit, but he has informed me that 81 is no longer in business. So this is a kit that if you didn't already have purchased, doesn't look like you're going to get it purchased. Yeah. Yeah, well, like what Pete just said, I want to crossbreed the trans kit that Pete is sending with this kit, because I really loved this style of fender because of the vents. The vents really had me sold. And I built Pete's BRZ using an 81 body kit, and I really liked it too. They have, I'm sad to hear them leave, that they're no longer producing anything, but man, they had some great stuff and good subjects. So what I'm going to do here, just like we did on the front, we're going to make a mount line. If I can get it to stay in place. I'm going to get a mount line. Like I said, Pete, you did a good job not having the background history on using aftermarket resin stuff, bud. You did a good job. But just a few issues I want to clean up. I thought about that too, John. If I was to vent this hood, if I was to vent this hood, I want to vent it. If you ever seen a GTR, no, I think you're thinking of Mishi from USPC products. I don't know. 81 was a Japanese company, I believe. John, if you've ever seen the real GTR, um, the twin turbos are like they're like right here. It has a manifold that kind of fits like this, and then the tubes come off like that. So if I was to vent it, I'd want the vents like right here if I was to going to vent it myself. That's the beauty about being creative influence is if I wanted to change the hood, I got free range. I don't have to talk Pete into it. He lets me build it the way I want to build it. So we still got the barrel out. Now, do a little trimming on this. I'm going to take a little bit off of here. Round that off just a little bit. What was that, son?
What?
What was that?
Something I'm doing.
Alright. Now, get us some more glue out.
I keep getting these ads in my mail now.
For what?
It's because of how I got my job. I now get the emails from something called Snag a Job.
Oh, snag a job? Yeah.
No experience needed. Become a seasonal text preparer. These employers provide training to qualify.
So you keep getting junk emails?
I received that at 1:18 p.m.
Sorry, guys. Just cleaning up my super glue right now. There's that. There's that. And I also thought about on this rear bumper valance, John, these are exhaust tips, but the rear valance goes like this. I also thought about putting a vent inside here, inside the underside, but it's so low, I don't know if it'd even be noticeable. Where'd my other fender go? I'm missing a fender. Uh-oh. I'm working behind the cameras. There it is. I have to clean up. This right here has a little bit more glue damaged in the rest of the car, so I have to clean that up. That being said, let's get out. I got to get out the heavier stuff. Get out the 36 grit here. Pete, do you remember what glue you were using when you put this kit together? It sands. It's strong, but look how good it sands. Like, it's gone already. I use a little bit rougher sandpaper just to knock it down, but man, it knocks it down quick. I'll do aluminum exhaust tips. These right here are plastic right now, but I'm leaving them in there. I'm leaving them on so that way I get the right distance. You know what I'm saying, Scott? When I put this in here, that way it gets the right distance. I'm totally not sure if I'm going to put this on just yet. That's why you've seen it in the background. I haven't talked too much about this piece. Now knowing that 81 is belly up and not producing no more, I don't know if I want to stay true to a full 81 kit or if I want to manipulate, because I know some of the stuff that I'm getting from Pete has a different rear fascia. It has like a different diffuser. These would be called your rear diffusers, and it has a different diffuser. See, when I go to my 36 grit, man, that glue comes right off, Pete. I don't know what glue you use. That sanded out great. Then I went from the 36, now I got 220 now. Like I said, we'll do some body work and some cleanup, so I'm not worried about the scratches. A lot of the scratches is going to be under the over fender anyway. I'm just worried about the gas cap, so I'll make sure I do that right. Man, it cleaned up so good, man. That was a nice glue, Pete. Yeah, there's some better looking ones, John. There's some better looking ones out there. Like I was saying a minute ago about the purist, some people will probably knock this knowing that 81 is out of business, and I'm gonna hack their kit up. Guys, I'm gonna leave you with this for a minute. I'll be right back. I'm gonna step away for a second. Had to get me something to drink. So do that. Hit the camera, sorry guys. Do that now. I've got to clean up this fender. Just like the other side, I'm going to take a little bit off this inner roll here. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. Another, Pete is sending me some two little cool little drift projects, man. They're pretty neat looking. One's a little, like a mini Cooper style thing, and the other one's like a little Honda, Suzuki, Yamaha pickup truck that you guys see everywhere. Then there's gonna be some cool stuff. So if we put that like that. Make my glue line. And this one here we have to do different because of the gas cap. I can't just go in there and do the full thing. So right here, I'm gonna just put it on there. I know this time of year is rough for some people. I was hearing on the news last night that Twitch, which my wife used to watch, So You Think You Could Dance, and some of the talk shows, was a big choreographer, committed suicide this week, and my brother and cousin both died on December 13th, a couple years apart. Both drug related. It's something I never got into. But yeah, so as I'm sitting here today enjoying myself, I know there's some of you guys out there that are having a hard time with something. Please find the help you need, or find someone that you can talk to listen before you do something that you can't return from. For me, I know life's not perfect, but man, I went through some struggles myself, and there's been many a times I thought, I wasn't wanted, nobody needed me, nobody liked me, or what have you. Just personal stuff that someone goes through. But I never gave up. I'm much happier now in my 40s. Yeah, man. Yeah, that'd be tough, Scott. Find an outlet. Don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt anybody else. There's hope out there for all of us. I mean, there's years I've seen everybody I know in happy kids, marriage, and I'm like, what's wrong with me? And then I found my wife, and 22 years later, and we have our family and everything, and things change. It don't happen all at once, but it's not the end all. You guys see Dad versus Son in here. He's a coworker of mine, and within like 2 years, we had 3 suicides, man, all over bad relationships. Oh, yeah. Yeah, even my brother died in 2008, a drug overdose. Um, he died on a Saturday, the 13th. His mother-in-law died Monday, the 15th, in the same house on the same weekend. Could you imagine? And yeah, me and John, we lost Kenny first, and then we lost Dalton, and then a few months later, we lost Tyler Stedman, all due to suicide. Um, I believe all 3 was over relationships, man. That's the worst one. Young men, all young men, um, barely into their 20s, all over relationships, man. That's the hardest part, is knowing the type of relation. Hey, what's up, buddy? Yeah, I ain't seen you in a while. How have you been? You guys never followed See No Evil? He has some great, interesting, very, very well detailed builds. We're rebuilding this one for Scaledworld. So this week we stripped the paint. We put the body kit back on. No, I don't know. Yeah, I definitely want to use this rear wing. Got some glue marks in there to fix up. This is my go-to. I love this soda. Yeah, man, we miss you too, man. Get back out here. It'd been a while for me too. So I picked up just a few subjects to try to break the monotony of stuff. I was just talking about people's life getting busy, and how, we get sidetracked on things and depression and whatnot. But yeah, man, all you gotta do is jump back on. It's still free. I'm still doing everything off my phone. I don't have the home computer or nothing. And yeah, I don't know what I do. I mean, I hear a lot of stuff going on with Twitter right now, but I've never been a Twitter person. You're not in the mountains no more? Yeah, John, I don't know, man. I'd have to build a lot. If I hinge this, it cuts it off right here. It'll come off right here, and then the hatch opens up right here, clear across. So if I was to hinge it, the hinge would be on the glass. I'd have to go right through there. Man. Yeah. Yeah, you know what I do now? Savage. I don't play no music. I only endorse the products I actually use, and I only speak about channels that I actually can know the content. You know, you promote somebody because they promoted you, not knowing their content, and then when you go to their content, my page got flagged because of hatred, and I'm not about that at all. Don't believe in any racism. I'm not. Hey, bud. And I didn't know that, and it almost got me in trouble. Um, so I learned my lesson on that. I only speak of you if I've been on your page and seen your own content. Oh, there's enough product on there, Pete. It sanded off so good. I just didn't know. Yeah. Mason, what time is it?
2:25.
I'm cleaning out the holes I drilled. I use a safety pin, and I knock out the dust after I sanded off all the old glue. The reason why I mentioned the glue, there's some glues that tear the body apart. And Pete had messaged me watching the very first video of this. And he was like, oh, you got that apart pretty easy. I would have broke everything. But it's just finding the weak points and making the most of it. I'm going to leave that there for a minute. I'll be right back, guys. Bud, do your backpack and lunchbox. Alright, I'm back. So, just even though this is on a flat surface, I'm still going to mark it off. Now, I know the new 3D printed parts that are coming has a new wing to it. Will have a new wing to it. They call these ducktails. If you guys ever go on a website looking for aftermarket parts for some of your builds, it's right here. It's called a ducktail. It's the style that instead of it just being a lifted wing or whatnot, they call it a ducktail because of the way it moves and smooths up. Pete, this is a Liberty Walk, correct? This ain't the Panda. Yeah, it's gonna be the big fin that's coming. That's famous for a lot of the drift cars. And like I said, John from Gap Hill Speed Shop, he's gonna, if you guys don't follow his channel, he's going to be doing, I don't know if he's doing his on just Facebook, or if he's going to do his on YouTube like I am. His is going to be the drift version. I've already seen progress pictures of it. It's looking pretty neat. His has Pete sent him the rear bumper delete. Pete sent him the whole rear bumper delete and everything that he's using. I'll have that option, but as you guys can tell, I'm not using it. I'm going to use this. Alright. So pretty much, that's my alarm I've been on for an hour and a half, fellas. Alright. I know Pete's sending me, I'm just going to, this right here is just doing some cleanup. I think since Pete sent this, what I like to do is when Pete sends me something that's already been built and painted, I usually stay with the same color theme that he had. Like if you guys remember, we rebuilt the rabbit he sent and it was brown. We rebuilt the BRZ he sent and it was purple. No, that's no, John, the kids are home from school. My middle schoolers are home. So I have the alarm set for when they get off the bus. That way they don't walk down the street without supervision. I know they're 13 years old, but still the way our society is, even though we're out in the country, I still watch them because we're close enough that something can happen. See, I'm undecided about this, is what I'm undecided about. I don't know yet. I kind of want to wait until I get the other kit. Then again, I kind of want to just open this up. Alright, and another thing I do, now that I got this all back together like this, and I got my Dremel wheel out. I'm gonna go to the bigger spool. Where is my spools? I'm going on to my, instead of the 80 grit, I'm gonna go to my 220, and I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna even out these radiuses on both front and backs. Yeah. John, I was called lazy one time because I could stay up all night, but then the day I want to sleep. And I'm like, well, my body's so used to working nights. And then I get the reply, well, you only work 3 days a week, but you don't understand. We work long and hard. My body's used to sleeping in the day and working at night. So now all I do, guys, now is I'll go in there. I'll go at an angle. I'll keep it at an angle. And I'll go in there and I'll trim back the plastic and the resin. Just enough to where it's all clean. See, now it's all clean and it looks like one piece. And it's something that I do. I know it's something that'll probably never be seen. It'll probably never be seen by anybody. but I make it more or less one unit. But no offense to Pete or anybody else that builds using a trans kit like this. This is just my preference. I've seen real car builds. I've seen real car builds where they'll do something to the quarter panel or whatnot, and they don't trim it up right, and you get that real sharp edge. I know in real life you got to worry about tires and people getting their fingers cut and whatnot, but for me, I do it just for the aesthetics. Then I'll just go in there, because that Dremel wheel is harsh, you know what I mean, even at 220, just go in there. A little bit of finger usage and sandpaper and knock it all down, make it all smooth. Learning bodywork from my uncle Brian, one model he used to say is, if you can feel it, you're going to see it. So that's what I've always stuck around to be doing. So there's it back together. Now, let's see. We got a few wheel choices here. And these right here, and what's sad is, man, I loved 81. Here's 3 different. I got these wheel sets from 81 that I'll never be able to replace. I don't know which ones I'll use. Like I said, Pete's sending me some wheels too, so I have a range of product to use, so I just don't know. But you know what, I'm gonna get the turntable out. So that way we can get a visual. Robbie asked me, I took a model to work to show the guys in maintenance, and Robbie asked me how much for a build, and I told him, he goes, I bought in real cars for that much money. And I said, Robbie, I see what you drive every day. I believe you. Well, that's the first set I got. My camera's not showing it the way you guys. No, they're staggered. They're staggered, so the back is a lot wider than the front. You see the lip? It's just the way my camera view is showing. So we got that style. And like I said, Pete's got a style. Right now they're not mounted, so it'd probably set more like that. You guys can go on YouTube and look at the 350Z go-karts. You can go to YouTube and search NISSAN go-karts, 350Z go-karts, Honda Civic go-karts. It's the staggered, John and Scott. They're the same height. They're the same diameter of wheel. It's just the backs are offsets. A lot wider. You got that. You got this set here it's still offset. But man, the front is deep and the back deep. Not on this. These won't be cambered. This right here will be a flat surface car. Um, these wheels are too big to camber, John. I'd need a smaller diameter wheel. These are meant for the grip and the speed. And then look how wide these are. Here's the back, and here's the front. So even the front is really wide. And then we'll see what wheels Pete sends, because he's got some wheels. These are resin. What Pete's sending will be 3D printed resin, which this don't look half bad. Those actually look really decent on here. The camera's not going to show you guys what I see. But man, those actually look pretty decent, Pete. And once some things, like when some people ask you the price of a model, they don't realize if I had to buy the kit itself right now would be, yeah, Scott, I like these too. If I had to buy this kit right now, it would cost me, like I say, roughly $30. And then if it was on the internet, it'd be about $30. No, John, they only come two in a set. The way these were set up. But like if I was to purchase this right now, $30 for the kit, and then if it was from overseas, you got to think another $17 to $20 shipping, so you're already 50 deep in the kit. 30 for the body kit, which makes you at 80. Another 20 for these wheels. And the wheels didn't come with tires. I had to make these tires out of other tires I had. So you're already over $100 deep. And that's before any labor, any paint. And I use Real Automotive paint, Real Automotive primer, Real Automotive clear coat. So, you know, that all adds up. And then when you hear, you know, $300-400 for a completed build, some people are like, oh man, that's, you know, you just hear all the excuses and mumbles. But Robbie bought one. Maybe 3 years ago, Robbie bought one for $100 from me. But when he saw the Volkswagen this week, I told him 400. He's like, well, I'll have to think about that. Of course, the Volkswagen I took to work to show him it's full custom body. Yeah, it's really loaded. So let's just guesstimate. Put the hood back on. Once I trimmed everything out, the hood fits pretty damn decent. Just got to get it to set in there. Don't have no engine bay, so it's hard to get it to set in there. So there's, other than the rear diffuser and the mirrors, because I don't want to put the mirrors back on yet, because I don't know how I want to paint the body. We pretty much got it rebuilt this week, Pete. Well, we got it stripped and mocked up for the rebuild. And then we'll look and see what comes for this. Like I said, I got other projects. I was just really wanted to strip this and see if that awesome would work and damage anything, and it didn't. Yeah, but yeah, ain't that the truth, Scott? John, the Volkswagen bus, like his, the one he has, that kit itself's $100. Because they don't make it no more, and people hold on to them. And there's one they offer as like a camping trailer. And then they have another one under the Magnum PI, and that one skyrock just because it has the Magnum PI box and, got Tom Selleck on the cover of it and stuff like that. Yeah, his bus is real expensive. But that's why I brought the VW, because I know he's the VW fan, but I don't have to sell anything. I do it to make money. If you did that, it looks... See, to me, that's too wide, John. I don't like that. I got one last set of wheels. And these I've already painted. I already did the lug nut detail. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The cheapest one is just the camper. Then they have the one that's got the Magnum PI stuff, which is way expensive. So here's these black ones. Now all three of these were 81s, which now you can't get no more. And see, to me, I'm bummed that you won't be able to get their products no more, talking to Pete. If someone else had this stuff, it's probably $100 body kit now, because now they're going to say it's rare and you can't get it no more. We'll see what plays out once I start putting color on it. This was green when we started, so I'm kind of wanting to go back a green on this one. Just so when I return to Pete, it's kind of like what he had. But man, I tell you what, from a regular 350Z to one with the body kit on it, man, there's a lot. Man, it makes him a cool looking car, though. Man, it makes it a cool looking car. John, I kind of want to target top this one too. Like you were talking about on the Supra. Now you got me thinking about opening the hatch, because it does have a lot of good detail back there. Man, I don't know, John. I have to sit here and think about it. Now, next week, I know, because Pete sent me the tracking number already, I know I got a lot of really neat stuff coming this week for the Supra. I'm going to have photo etch, resin, 3D. Man, I'm going to have all kinds of stuff. Yeah, John, that was one of my favorite colors. Ford did it on the Ford Ranger. They did it on the 350Zs. Man, I love that burnt orange color. That burnt orange is just beautiful. That's kind of what I like to do, though, with Pete stuff that he since built. Like I was trying to say a little bit ago, I like to stay kind of within the same color. Yeah. Man, you got me thinking, John. I'll have to look into that, because I got to take into consideration the way the tail lights mount, the way the windows mount, the way the interior mount, how everything would work together. And if I hinge it, I have to make it, the hinge is going to have to be on the window itself. And man, gluing to clear usually causes problems, dude. So that's what I don't know. I'm looking at, I don't know. You know what? I have this. I don't know if I glued it on yet. I have this 3D. This is for a Mustang, but it's a 3D printed wind visor. And I don't know. Holy crap. That would almost work. Almost. A little too wide. A little too wide, damn it. That rear window vent would almost be cool too. But it's actually for the 2015 to 20. Yeah. Because right now it has, John, right now, the way Pete did it is correct. It's got the factory glue down paint, which Pete has a paint mask and he put down on the window and he painted it the way it would be for a factory build. But if I put the hinge on it, I don't know if I'd be able to stay within that black. So to come down a little bit, it looks like I could come down maybe come down a quarter inch and just come down a little bit more. But then you'd have to open the hatch to see all the good stuff. So I don't know. Now you really got me thinking. Well, it'll be something I'll look at over the weekend. Because I probably won't touch this the rest of the week. I just want to show you guys that I got it stripped. I'm going to put the body kit back together to show you, even though I'm using a rebuild here, hopefully the steps I shared with you guys today will help you when doing your own build, and you know the steps prior to going in to getting a clean fitment build. You don't have to look and make mistakes. I always use a marker that can be sanded back off because you don't want it to bleed through your paint, and always fit. Yeah, well, if I delete that little window, that's not the issue. It's the way the hinge mounts, John, that let me hold the post is what I'm worried about. That I need the room to glue that in. The window's not the problem. It's the length of the glass I need. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to delete the whole back window. Heck, what if I use this for the hood? Do a custom vented hood? Oh, that's ugly. Oh, that's real ugly. Nah. No, thank you. This is a rebuilder I'm working on. The video, I posted a video up earlier this week. It showed it green and all painted, and then I broke it down and stripped it. And then I put it all back together today. Basically, I'm finishing up now. You came in a little late, Thomas. I'm finishing up now, about ready to call it quits. I gotta tend to the kids now that they're home from school. Um, but this right here is I guess as I found out today, this is an obsolete. Oh yeah, I have to go check that out. No, I couldn't, John, because the way I build my hinges, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't give me the room. Good question though. Good. That was a decent. That's a pretty decent question. From now you got me. Now you really got me thinking. Because this whole back unit is one piece. The side windows, um, the side window. All well, actually, everything is one piece. And I was already going to delete these side windows, these ones. And where's my pointer? I'm going to pull my pointer out. I was already going to delete. I was already going to delete these. And then that would make the front windshield separate. And that would make this whole back unit separate. Because it's solid all the way through there. I have plenty of room to put this glass in. What happens usually when you glue... The glue I should say, what usually happens when I use the glue I use on clear parts, it leaves a foggy, it leaves a white frosty fog-like mist, or it crazes the whole window. It depends upon the type of plastic that the plastic window is made out of. But if I could subject my way to build the hinge up here and make the pit small enough right here to stay within the painted area, I don't know, it might work. And then it could show off the air ride. It will be able to show off the air ride. John, you really do got me thinking. But in reality, this whole piece opens up. This whole back piece will open up. But that leads me again to all this is one unit too. When you put the red in and the blinkers down here, it's all one solid. It's all a one solid chrome piece like this. So I'd have to also figure out all that. How all that goes. Huh. Yeah, I'd have to make what's called a sill plate and everything. It's very doable, and I've never seen anybody do it to the point where it's still functioning and worked. And see, that's my questioning. If I'm just going to cut it off and leave it set down, all you have to do is build the inner structure to look right. But if I do it, I believe that if I went to a car show, if I went to a real car show, would I see the hatch just sitting on the ground? I'd more likely see it opened up in the air and you could see behind it. But yeah, John, you got me thinking now. You really got me thinking. No, the lights don't. They, damn it, John, I was about to get off here. Now you got me thinking. get rid of the turntable. To see, here's the interior. So it does have the whole tub right here. It looks like I could take the Z-bar out. You can take this part out, it looks like. And then it has the resin air tank and it has the resin air pumps. So Pete's already sent me all that detail. And like I say, John, look here. Oops, the glass is all one unit right here. And I was already going to cut this off, these off, and that off. Basically what I'm doing here is just using my number 11. And most of you hobby guys, John probably won't know what a number 11 is, but I'm using just the back side of my hobby knife. You know what? I'm busting out. Where's my photo? Where's all my photo stuff? Alright. Alright, I'm gonna pull out a brand new. I'm pulling out a brand new Detail Junkies hobby saw. Where'd my other saw go? I don't see my other saw. Here it is. Pull that out. And these right here are paper thin saws, guys. DetailJunkies.com. Yeah, I was afraid of. Just lost that detail. That was too thin. Sorry guys, I got quiet. I'm trying to concentrate. It's how John is at work too. Come on, you can do it. Just do it. Come on. Just do it. You're halfway there. Just get it done. Like I said, it ain't going to be right, but it'll be... More junk, Mason? What was that message?
It was from a game.
Oh, okay. What I'm doing, guys, here is I use a number 11 to thin it out and give me a guideline. Then I use my photo etch saws to cut through it. John, they only tell us how to use box knives. They didn't tell us how to use photo etch saws, bud. Don't tell Wanda. I saw an associate dissecting a model, and he was cutting towards him, not away from him. I can see you now, John. Dave Irwin go medical for stitches? Nah, he was on video. He did that shit at home. Let me tell you what, if I would have done this different, usually I would have cut along here first. I would have cut along here first and then did the upper parts, but I kept thinking, John kept talking. No going back now, John. Asshole. God, it looks so ugly now. It happened last week, Wanda. It didn't bother me until today. All right. Now, put that back in place. Okay, now with everything back in place, this is how much I'll have to fill in, John. I guess we can use the window. Looks like I'll have to build in the sill plate, which doesn't look like much, you know what I mean? Clean this up first. This is the excess plastic we used when we were sanding. We'll have this. I can't glue this back in yet, but we'll have this. We'll have that right there as the tail light section. That's the tail light section. Roof. So that way, when you look at it, yeah, the glass goes to the hatch. That's where the hinges will have to be, up right here. So I say, you do that, open that up. Closed, opened. And that way Pete can show it off like this. No, I don't, with the position, the way I do my hinges, John, I don't think I have the position room. So what I'll do, yeah, now I'm gonna have to figure that out. Yeah. No, because here's the problem, John. See the curve? If I put the hinge is going to bend like this. See if you can't see that. The hinge, maybe on a toothpick. The hinge is going to bend like this to get that curve. It won't give me the right distance for it to function to open and close. I'm going to have to put the hinges like right here. Just looking things over, guys. Yeah, this is no big hurry. I'll look it over and see what we got. see where we end up at and work on it from there. But I'm just scribing the window line itself, because this right here will have to be flush with the body. All right, so I'm thinking cut it straight up this way. Oh, I see now. Fudge. Fudge a mother fudger. John, I'm going to have to look. I thought these side windows stayed in. Guess I never seen a hatch opened up on one of these. But if I leave any of this here, it's going to interfere with it being open and closed, I think. You know what? Guys, I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to get on and do some research. Remember, if you guys have any info, man, I've never, you know what? I can't recall ever seen one of these opened. So they stay with the car and just the hatch goes up. So I can use, okay. Because now that I've done that, I can use part of this. Alright, so I can use part of this as structure. And I can use part of it as a mounting point. Alright, I'm going to look into that, John. I got some things to do now that the kids are home. I'm going to mock this back up. See, this right here was just supposed to be an update video. And I get sidetracked and ideas and then peer pressure. Man, John, you pressured me into that one, didn't you, bud? You didn't have to talk about it too hard. I guess I went and did it quick. What I love about this hobby, man, we can talk and share together. And what's really funny is most of these guys don't know that you're just a coworker and a follower, that you don't build models, buddy. Oh, now you're gonna bring me some candy? Hey, John, I was just talking about your version, bud. I was just talking about the one you're doing for Pete, and this one here is a rebuild for Pete. If you guys have a minute, go sub Gap Hill Speed Shop. He has builds going on too. Yeah. Well, Pete, while you were gone, Dad versus Son talked me into, we cut the hatch out, bud, and we're going to open the hatch for you. We're going to make it a rear opening hatch. So we just got to figure out how to, I'm just now figuring out how to cut. What am I going to do how am I going to cut the windows and, you know, everything else to make everything functioning. Yeah. Well, you sent me, when you built this, you have the resin air tank and the resin VL motors. So I'm going to clean up that air tank. Yeah, I don't think it's welcome, John. So I got it all cut up, and I got some more figuring out to do. And thanks, John. Yeah, like I said, Pete sent John a 350Z also. But his 350, from the preview pictures, is going to be totally different than mine. Um, John got the rear bumper delete with a lot of the drift options. Um, and if you guys ever seen any of John's drift cars, um, he built a Panda R34 or R33. I can't remember which one you did, John. That thing is just... So this whole thing didn't open just the glass? I thought this whole unit opened. See, I definitely got to go check it out. The R32. John opened the doors, full roll cage, full interior delete. When I mean interior delete, you know, some models of some of you guys that are car builders, they just don't put the door panels on and think they have an interior delete. He actually used the full blown, it looks like structure support without product on it. Man, it's just... Is it a hobby design interior, John? I forget. Okay, so John, you're right. Side windows stay. All right. I think I know where I need to cut now. I think what I want to do now, I think I want to use part of this frame. Oh, yeah, it was an 81 too. Okay. I want to use part of the frame that the window mount is for interior support, and I'll use some of this to mount the glass. The worst part about this whole thing is I'm going to have to glue my hood hinges to the glass. And that's what I don't want to do. But I already cut it open. It's already cut open. And then we'll have it opened up in the air like this, so that way you can see. Get you guys in the camera. Okay. This is John's fault. Dad versus son. This is all his fault, Pete. So if it doesn't come out. Well, guys, man, I didn't know I stretched this one out for 2.5 hours, brother. So we got it all put back together, all the body kit cleaned up, paint off. I thought about, John, I was telling these people about the trucks. How they've been turning some of these into go-karts and trucks. So I'll cut the glass and make it hinge it open. Just got to figure out, I guess we're going to have to do some fill-in work just for anybody else that's ever wanting to do this. This is a kit piece that comes in for the tail lights. It looks like I'm going to have to fill in just between here, a little bit up here. To do it right, a little bit up here and then just above the back bumper. We were talking about shitty parts. I don't know who the resin stuff came from, but man, it needs a lot of cleanup, Pete. We'll make it work though. Add some braided lines back there off the air valves into that air tank. We'll get it detailed up, especially now that the trunk is open. And you know I always like to do subwoofers. So we'll put some subwoofers back here. Maybe if we don't use these tanks, just use the air tank itself, because the air tank itself looks good. These pumps just got a lot of resin on them that needs cleaned up. And maybe put a box back here and leave the air tank. Like I said, we're in no hurry. It's not due for no contest. It's not due for no deadlines. We'll take our time on it. All right. Thanks, John. You have better... Do you have a better tank too then? Or is it just the motors? When I had Air Ride, we had the VL50s, which looked kind of little, but they were still, and they were monsters. They would keep it aired up good. No. See, when I mentioned, guys, the right tools for the right job gets the work done with no damage. You almost, if you didn't know I cut that top off, you wouldn't know it. John, I think I'm going to add the 81 GTR 35 motor that I got from George Ramos. The same one. Okay. I think I'm going to use the motor I put in the yellow truck I built for Pete. And then I believe I have the original 300Z motor. I got this motor too. But it would be backdating. Yeah, the yellow Sunny. Yeah, you're right. You got it, John. And I can backdate it with this motor. But I think I'll go with the GTR 35 motor. I have the resin mold to it. I have to cast it and everything, but I have that mold. I believe I have that mold. I just don't have resin. I need to get resin. Well, guys, I got to split. Yeah, that yellow is pretty. Pete had a couple of us build all that yellow Sunny truck, John, and we all sent them to a show that Pete was going to be at, and man, they looked good. There was a green one, there was my yellow one, there was a red one. Yep, that's true. It is your yellow truck. Yeah. Your new one's black though, man. It's all black too. Man, my cars that are black are so dirty. I need to wash my van now I'm talking about it. Well, guys, I got to get out of here. I got some daddy responsibilities to do now. I guess my playtime's over. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. Hell, that was... Yeah, see you guys. So I got to get out of here. I still got the mirrors stripping. I won't put those on until we're ready to paint, because you guys can already see how much body work and stuff I've done to this, how much more we got to do. And then it looks like I'm going to have to figure out a way to hinge this, make it look believable and workable. So until next time, we'll see you guys. I'll probably see you guys after the new year, with family coming in for the holiday next week and stuff. I probably won't have time to go live until after the first of the year. Yeah, John, you too, man. Both Johns. Gap Hill Speed Shop is John Stancleft, and Dad versus Son is John Kirby. Two great supporters. And Pete, I can't thank Pete enough. Really enjoyed this rebuild, bud. Oh yeah, man, I love it. It keeps me from going stir crazy. And like I said, you give me the opportunity to build stuff. Oh, Scott, Merry Christmas to you too. Pete, you give me the opportunity to build stuff that I can't afford. So that's what I like. Man, just looking at like this really changed the look of it. I gotta find me a good green though for it, because you sent it green. Yeah, John, I might put you on mute next time. You too, John. Merry Christmas to you, buddy. And I gotta find a green, because everything you've sent me, I've tried to return back in the same color. The rabbit was brown, and I send it back in browns. The BRZ was a purple, I send it back in a purple. Yeah, I've been trying to tell people, get to your channel and watch what you do. Even before you jumped in here today, man. You've always been an inspiration to me. And I know Pete put a lot of trust in you too. So I'm always mentioning the people that Pete's helped out, to keep Scaledworld alive for Pete. That's a big movement for a one-man job, and He supported the hobby through the years for a lot of us, not just me. And so I kind of still give Scaledworld a shout out, and I knew you were a good contributor, and Pete still depends upon you to do builds, and just Pete's a great dude, and I'll show him all the support I can. John, the same with you, and so yeah, get that channel back up and going so these people have another outlet, and then they can see what John builds, guys. Let me tell you, from his NASCAR stuff to his regular stuff, dude can build. Um, well, with that being said, guys, I got to split before I get myself in trouble. Um, probably talk to you guys in a while. So don't think I disappeared again. Man, you don't owe me nothing, Pete. You're paying it forward by letting me build this stuff for you. You've given me a plenty of stuff that I've kept. I really enjoyed that box truck. I'm just don't know how I get it shipped back to you. And I was really scared that those stickers that George sent me for the Diversified Club wasn't going to hold up under that clear. So I was kind of scared, but man, they've done great. I'll give you an update video on that next week. But guys, I got to split and get, and talk to you later. John, Pete sent me a message and shared to me the parts that's going into your 350 build, and I can't wait to see your take on it. So Pete, I know you had to leave during this. For you guys that joined in late, you guys go back to the beginning of it once this is posted up, and check it out. And John, I made a video today about my Mobius trucks. Check it out, and it shows some of the products that I use for the hinge. And then, man, practice makes perfect. The more you make, the more you're going to get used to doing it. I know you said you had to practice, but if you just get back to it, man, it comes back like riding a bicycle. Or like you're a big fisherman, so it's going to be like fishing. You just got to restring the rod and get it back in the water. So with that being said, you guys have a great one. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, and I'll see you guys in January. Peace.